Content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995. Studio A.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something that will help you make a little money and save a little money, and today we're going to talk about tips and tricks to help you save a little money on your homeowner's insurance. Everybody is talking about insurance, and it really sucks. I'm not gonna lie. So today we're here with Brandon, and we are going to talk about what's going on over at Goosehead Insurance and how he can help us, because I am constantly calling Brandon and saying, help, help, we need help.
Well, I appreciate you having me as always. A lot of people need help in insurance, and in a lot of aspects it does kind of suck. I love the industry, but I love being able to help people, because there's so much gray in what people seem to look at as black and white in the insurance industry. So I have a lot of fun with being able to help people. Okay,
well, it sounds like you like to help them all night long too. So I'll call him at 10 o'clock at night, and I don't call, I actually text first, because I don't want to be completely rude. And I say, are you up? Can you answer a question? And he actually answers, but I am helping. I'm introducing him to another agent, trying to, so.
Yeah, I'm here to help. Anytime people need to call me, of course, I try to make myself available. And my phone number is 954-326-9842. That's my cell phone number, and you can reach me anytime there.
All right, great. So tips and tricks.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what can help the insurance company, but also what can help the homeowner, because we want to try to keep everyone happy. And so a couple tips and tricks that I've been mentioning a lot in conversations. So one of those, one thing that we're seeing is what's called a limited water damage sublimit on almost every homeowner's policy right now. And typically it's $10,000, which means the max they're going to pay out for any water claim is $10,000. Now we can go into a huge topic about what's a water claim. Is it flood? No, it's not flood. It's if that's water coming from the outside up. It's not hurricane if water comes through your roof. Water claims are typically like your water pipe that goes to your sink faucet bursts. That would be a water claim. Now, if the drain breaks, that would be different. If your toilet overflows, that would be water backup. So typically, if a water pipe bursts, that would be a $10,000 max, unless you're going to pay extra for that coverage. And so with that, there's these little devices that you can buy online, and they are saving people a ton of headache. It's the same concept as a smoke detector. So you buy this little device, and you throw it under your sink, your refrigerator, if you have a water line in your refrigerator. Your AC typically has a float switch if water goes there, but if it doesn't, you can throw one there. Again, bathroom sink, kitchen sink, washer, anywhere you have water, and if water hits it, it goes off, just like a smoke alarm, and then you can run and shut off your water. You're going to save you're going to save a big headache from having to repair everything. As we all know, you're typically penalized for using insurance, and so you're going to save from having a claim and having to go through all the repairs and everything. So it's a huge thing that can really save a lot of people. Second to that, you might ask, well, what if I'm not home? A lot of people will have like a central station alarm if their fire alarm goes off, and then whatever that company is going to call the fire department, and they come. Well, what if I'm not home? Well, there's also devices now that a lot of them are Wi-Fi connected, and you have a plumber install it onto your main water line, and it's an automatic water shutoff valve. And so if it detects a leak in your system, however techie thing detects it, it'll shut off. It'll shut off your water right away. And if you want to shut your water off, you go out of town, or if your wife is taking a shower for too long, you can shut it off on your phone. But yeah, it's a really good way that if you're not at home and can't shut the water off, it will shut off automatically. And a lot of insurance companies now are giving discounts if you have those.
Oh, interesting. What kind of discount are we looking for? $10?
It might not be huge, but I think you're going to see this become a bigger deal because they don't want you to have a claim either. And so depends on the carrier how much the discount's going to be, a few $100, whatever it might be.
Okay. Any other tips?
Those are the two biggest ones. I mean, it's good to have
right.
hurricane protection and smoke alarms and other things.
So I have some tips.
Tell me.
Well, number one is a lot of times you have to manipulate insurance.
Manipulate might not be the right word. But
I think it's a great word. Do you know what I mean by that?
Tell me.
Redoing your 4-point wind mitt every year, it's worth $175, $200.
Yeah.
What do you think an average 4-point wind mitt should be?
Well, typically what I see with inspectors is you get what you pay for. I think it should be anywhere between $150 and $300.
$150 and $300?
For both.
I would think $150 for both, $175 for both.
You could probably get someone to do it for that price.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, like the guys, they have to go in and crawl through the attic for the wind mitt. Mm-hmm. Depends on the size of the property as well. There's some different characteristics there, but I would say if you're paying over $300, don't do it.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess it depends on how much the savings is, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So the 4-point goes over 4 points of the property.
Right.
Goes over the roof, pretty much the age of the roof, making sure it's in good condition. The HVAC system, heating, ventilation, and cooling.
Correct.
Your AC. The electrical system, and the plumbing system. And so if you've made updates to any of those, that's going to affect the rate that the carrier uses, the algorithm they use to come up with your premium.
But if you have, like, for instance, like I was asking, I have a house that has a 2000 roof.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, if I put a new roof on, will it make a difference on the rate? And they were like, nope.
Yeah, it might not. And so what's interesting is, like, Citizens, they don't rate based off the age of the roof. They rate based off of if the roof has 5 years of life or more. So if you have a 25-year-old tile roof or a 10-year-old tile roof, it's not really going to make a difference.
Right. It's when it gets to 4 years, then it makes a difference.
Then it's going to be a problem. Nobody wants to write it. But let's skip over to the wind mitt, because that's an important inspection to talk about.
Yeah, like hip, gable.
Yeah, so the wind mitt's going to check.
Right, but that sounds like that's going to take a little bit, right? Because you're talking about all different kinds of roofs. Maybe we should go to commercial break and come back.
Let's do it.
Because, yeah, I think that gets complicated. So let's go to commercial break, and we come back. Let's talk about the wind mitt, because it's complicated. We'll be right back.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111 Again, that is 954-332-3111.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at thelaurazell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. We are now talking about wind mitigations to help get discounts on your insurance. A lot of people don't realize that they need these insurance reports in order to get these discounts. And this is something that only really just came up in 2005-06, where we started to see that these reports were needed. So it's something much newer than ever needed before. And the 4 points are something that wasn't needed until homes were 50 years old and now are needed
20 years.
10 years now. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, like, what's on my face? Anyway, we were just now talking about wind mitigations and what's required with those. And I know that certain ways that roofs are built, the way that the strappings are, the positioning of the nails, all this makes a difference on the discounts you receive.
Correct. So we talked about 4 points. 4 points typically last 12 months. After 12 months, most insurance carriers are going to say they expired. Wind mits are a little bit different, wind mitigation reports, and they typically last 5 years.
Oh, I thought the 4 points were 5 years too. Interesting.
Yeah. So we have to get those updated a lot to 4 points, but wind mits we don't have to. So that could save people a little bit of money if they're trying to shop the rate every year, which they should. So also, when you mention these reports are a newer thing, when people come from out of state, which a lot of people, everyone wants to be in Florida, right? I do. So they come from out of state. These reports are not a thing in other states. It's
I didn't know that either. Okay.
Yeah. Most other states don't have 4-point wind mit. It's not a big deal. They don't rate off of these reports or ask for them to see them. But as far as the wind mit goes, it looks at a few things in Florida. One, which is really important for discounts, is if your roof is what they call FBC approved. So FBC is Florida Building Code, and it's 94, 95 in 1994, 1995, and later in Dade and Broward, if I remember correctly, and then 02 for the rest of the state, if I remember correctly. So those dates and later, you're typically going to have an FBC approved roof, as long as I'm getting them right. And then that's going to give you a big discount. If you don't have an FBC approved roof, then you're going to lose a discount. Next from there, they look at what's called roof deck attachment. So how is the roof deck, the plywood on the roof or the wood on the roof, sometimes it's concrete, how is it attached to the trusses underneath?
Okay.
How far are the nails apart? How long are the nails? All of this plays into the rate. Then it goes into how is the roof attached to the walls? Is it toenails, which is just a nail going in sideways? Is it clips, which is a little more robust than that? And then is it single wraps or double wraps? These are the most common ones. And that's when you have a wrap that's in the concrete wall or the wall and going over the truss with nails on both sides. Okay. And if you have 2 wraps, you're going to get a bigger discount.
Can you just add another wrap?
There are companies that do retrofitting.
It's expensive, though.
It's expensive, yeah. It's not something I typically suggest. The next thing down from there is the shape of the roof. So I told you would remember this when I'm done with you.
Okay.
Everybody knows.
That's what they all say.
Everybody knows flat roofs. So you know what a flat roof looks like. That's simple. The other two are what we call hip and gable. So a hip roof, think of a pyramid. It comes down on every side, and you have a flat portion at every side. A gable roof is more like an A-frame.
Okay.
So you have on the sides where wind can just hit up against the wall, and only 2 sides of sloping roof.
Okay.
A hip roof is much more aerodynamic than a gable roof, because a gable roof, it can just go up against the side of the wall, wind can get under and pick
it up.
pick it up. A hip roof, it's going to be harder for it to get under because it's coming down on all sides.
So hip roof is better?
Hip roof is better, so you're going to get a discount for that.
So gable roof is not good?
Gable roof isn't as good. They also have partial hip roofs, so you don't see that a ton. And then you have what's called SWR, sometimes called SWB. This is secondary water resistance or water barrier. It's a peel and stick layer that goes underneath the tile or shingles or whatever type of roof you have, and it's just an extra layer of water protection.
Oh.
That is typically going to give you a very small discount. People will look to get that retrofitted. They got to take up the whole roof. It's not worth it.
What?
Yeah. And then last from there is your opening protection. So how hurricane protected are your openings? Your doors, your windows, garage doors, any glass blocks. We see a lot of that, especially in South Florida. Let slide in. Those aren't hurricane protected, impact rated. So those have to be covered. And then the last one is skylights. Those have to be protected as well.
So why would somebody have hurricane shutters on their impact windows?
I had this conversation with someone today.
I was not a bird on the wall or on the tree
fly
outside.
on the wall.
Yeah.
So this guy lives in Parkland. He had hurricane shutters, and then he put impact windows in. He left the hurricane shutters. If a rock goes flying to your impact window during a storm, it's probably not going to break the window all the way through, but it might shatter the window.
Okay.
That window is expensive to replace. Impact windows are really expensive. And so some people keep the shutters so they don't have to worry about their window breaking during a storm. You're not going to get any extra credit or discount for it, but it's just another layer of protection if you don't want to worry about your window breaking.
So if you got to a level 5 hurricane, you could pretty much say you're done, right?
Well, let's look at things historically. A lot of the homes in South Florida, where we are at least, were built in the 70s, 80s, and most of them are concrete block. There's some that are frame, and they're still standing. And so, the farther you get away from the water, the better off you're likely to be. But if a Cat 5 came, I think that most masonry homes are going to be safe. Wood frame homes I'd be concerned about, but most masonry homes I think would be fine. There's been talk of creating a Cat 6, but
how do you create a Cat 6?
It would just be the next level in wind speed, but the National Hurricane Center has shut that down. I get a little nerdy with hurricanes.
That's how you got into insurance?
I just like it. I like to watch them.
Did you get
I like to track them.
Did you have a 6.0?
No.
I'm not talking about your car either. I'm talking about your school.
No, I did not. I did go to UF though.
Oh, so you got in.
I got in. Yeah.
Oh, so it was
Graduated
a
from UF.
5.99.
So, but I think something to consider is, we're talking about retrofitting, we're talking about impact windows, and they're really expensive. I'm looking at impact windows for my house. We're about to put them in, and it's tens of thousands of dollars,
right,
to add them, and so there's
a lot of insurance policies to write. So,
so call me.
Yes, call him.
There's a program in Florida called My Safe Florida Home, and they ran out of funds.
I'm glad you said it.
But they had just added new funds. Now, they're not opening applications until July 1st.
Okay.
But what they do is they pay for a wind mitigation inspection.
Oh, they'll pay for the wind mitigation inspection?
Yeah, so they pay for the wind mitigation inspection, and then depending on how hurricane-proof your home is, they will give you $2 for every $1 you spend.
But there's a catch. Your house has to be in a certain price range, right?
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
They'll give you $2 for every $1 you spend, up to a cap of them giving you $10,000.
Okay.
So if I spend $5,000, I'm getting 10. So a total of
That's
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah. Anything above that, of course, if my
It's on
windows
you.
cost 25 grand, well, I need the extra 10.
But it has to be your homestead.
It has to be your homestead. I had to appeal that. They said it was not my homestead. I got it. and I appealed it, and
what do you mean
I
they
won.
said it's not your homestead?
I don't know why they said it's because I moved and I had to show proof of portability. You can't replace shutters with impact windows. They won't give you the credit for it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So you could take them off.
What you do is your decision. But yeah, you can't, if you already have hurricane protection, you can't.
So if they find them in
trade
a picture, you're done, right?
I don't know. I'm fighting with them because I have shutters, but there's no, the guy that came out, I just bought my house. And
Said
I
they
don't
have no Miami-Dade stamp.
He didn't show any stamp. He didn't verify them. I haven't gone around the house and made sure if they all fit. And so I'm fighting with them saying, hey, I should be good. So we'll see what happens there. But you have to,
you went to University of Florida. You should be able to do this. Come on. You
Go
can do it.
Gators. So there are some caveats. They're allowing it on townhomes now, which is good. There's some certain stipulations there, which I don't remember.
Isn't your value of your house too much?
The value of your house, your coverage A amount has to be under.
Oh, it's your coverage through your insurance.
Through
I
your insurance.
thought it was off of the Broward County tax or like your tax coverage.
No, it goes off of your coverage A amount, which is funny because that can be manipulated. Which I believe it was. I want to say it was 500 or 600.
I thought it was 5.
But I think they just raised it.
Okay.
And so I'll have to look at what the new appropriated funds allow for. And so you got to look at your coverage A amount. But that's a lot of money that somebody
and it's all
can
of
get.
Florida.
It's all of Florida. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of money that someone can get towards some of these costs.
But like Orlando, you wouldn't really need hurricane stuff.
Well, it helps to have it. You're still going to get
But
discounts.
they don't believe in impact windows there.
Says who?
My daughter.
Did she go to UF?
No.
No, I mean, they're still going to give you discounts. You know, a lot of the insurance companies I'm writing with, they're writing with the entire state and their rating systems. They're going to look at that.
They do insurance different up there because they don't.
You're more inland, so it's not going to weigh on the quote as much as it will in Broward County or Miami-Dade County.
Right.
But it still should help.
Right. All right, so let's see. We've talked about My Florida Safe Home. That can save you guys money, $10,000, right? We talked about this before, about a year ago, when they did have money, and then they did run out of money. So hopefully you guys have utilized
July
that.
1st, you got to go apply right away.
So get ready. Look it up and research it. My Florida Safe Home.
My Safe Florida Home. I always say that.
My Safe Florida Home. My Safe Florida Home. Remember that. My Safe Florida Home. Also, take a look at, if you haven't recently, make sure that your insurance agent, if not, definitely give Brandon a call because you want to make sure that you are getting your WINMIT and your 4-point updated so that your insurance agent is getting you the best rates possible. So if they're not doing that for you or reaching out to you and talking to you, then you definitely want to get yourself a new agent. So Brandon can definitely help you with that. So we've talked about that. Definitely want to get yourself either a handyman or a plumber to come out and set you up with some of those little devices out there because that's super important as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because you don't want your plumbing to be leaking all over you.
It happened to me this weekend. My main water pipe burst. Thankfully, it was outside, but
It's happened to me like 4 times.
yeah, it's not fun.
Let's see, what else?
I think that's all we've covered so far today. You know, I think reviewing, you brought this up, reviewing your policies, whether it's home or auto. So most auto policies are typically 6 months, and most home policies are 12 months.
And the other thing is some people have policies, and it might not be the best to get rid of your policy because you might have water coverage.
Yeah, so I talked to a guy today, the same guy with the windows.
Yeah. Then it might be good to keep what you have.
He has full water coverage on his policy, and I said, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you like it is. I'm not gonna try to sell you. I'm gonna tell you what's best for you and your family. Give you all the data. You decide what's best for you and your family.
For even if it was $1,000 cheaper, right? It might still be better to keep it, right?
It might be, yeah, depending on everybody's risk level.
Especially, yeah, it depends, right? I mean, if you're in a 2-story house and you got pipes running through the.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's important to note that water backup is not included on every policy, which would be like if your toilet overflowed. And if you're in a 2-story house, or if you have laundry on the 2nd floor,
which I do, that's water backup. That's not water.
That would be limited water damage, depending on the claims adjuster. But just something to think about. But if you're definitely gonna have toilets on the 2nd floor, and your toilet overflows, that's a claim we see all the time. And so making sure that you have water backup coverage is really important. Something that I do with clients is...
That would be a poopy situation.
Oh, you've got good ones today, Laura.
Yeah, I could have said something else, but I would have got in trouble from Freddie.
Something that I've offered to people before is, let's just do a policy review.
Yep. So if they wanted to get their policy reviewed, how can they reach out to you?
Definitely call me, and then I can give you my email, but my phone number is 954-326-9842. We'll talk through those coverages again, make sure you're comfortable with everything, and I'll review that policy for you.
And if you're looking for the best realtor, number 21 in the United States for RE/MAX, Laura Sanders, 954-650-0827, lauracell.com. I'd love to help you with all your real estate needs. Until next week, see you guys next time.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing